Hi everybody, I'm Jamie Ruthenberg and you are watching Jamie's Book in a Bite. So today I'm talking about a children's book titled Miles and the Best Birthday Gift, written and illustrated by yours truly. Then we're going to move into the kitchen and we're going to make an exceptional brownie recipe. To call these beautiful things brownies does not do them justice, and you're going to find out why. And remember to check out the bloopers at the end of the video. They're pretty fun. Okay, so the book that we're actually talking about today is the third book in the Miles series, Miles and the Best Birthday Gift. It's right here. And like I said, it's the third book in the series. It came out in 2017. You don't have to read the books in any particular order. It's just that this was, in fact, the third book that came out. And by the way, you can get any of the books I write and or illustrate on my website, jamieruthenberg.com and amazon.com. But if you want it signed and if you want me to get my hands on it, you need to order it through my website, jamieruthenberg.com. So in this book, it's a winter setting, kind of like it is today. I loved creating the artwork for this book because it has a very romantic feeling to it. Any of the paintings that were done in the outdoors kind of setting, with snow coming down, the very last thing I do is I paint the snow on the piece. And there was just something magical. Snow is magical. There's something completely transformational that happens at that point. It just becomes magic. And I especially love the snowy owl in the story. He's extraordinarily majestic and powerful and a very cool character, and he kind of takes your breath away. I love this character. Actually, I have an art print available of the publication dedication page. It's a beautiful piece, and again, you can always get a hold of me through the information that I will have below the video. So the story is really about Miles' friend Violet. It's her birthday, and her birthday party is on that very day that the story takes place. And her little brother Gabriel, who's 4 and completely adorable, is upset because he doesn't have a gift for his big sister. Everyone else seems to have bought her a wonderful thing and he has nothing. So Miles notices that Gabriel is upset because they come to his house that morning of the party. Miles finds out why Gabriel is so upset and doesn't quite know what to do to help him. He stops and thinks while he gets wood outdoors what he could do to help Gabriel. And in fact, he talks to the snowy owl about the fact that he wants to help his friend. The snowy owl basically says to him that yes, it's wonderful to buy nice presents for your friends, but the presents that are most meaningful are the ones that come from the heart. And so then Miles has an idea, and he helps Gabriel write a poem, because Gabriel's only 4, so he doesn't quite write yet. So he helps Gabriel write a poem about how much he loves his sister and why. And once they do that, Miles' mother and Miles and Gabriel walk across the back of the yard and across the icy pond behind their house to the other side and the property behind the pond, which is Violet and Gabriel's home. The cake that Miles' mother made is actually the gift from Miles and his mother for Violet. And I think that's a special part of the story because I often do that myself. Because as obviously you know, I'm a foodie, I have a cooking show. And the beautiful part of the story is that when Violet opens up the very last gift, which is the envelope that has the poem in it, she's very, very moved, and she tells her little brother that it's the best gift she's ever gotten in her life. And of course, in this book, there are ways of practicing text connections, just like in the previous books. And if you're interested in finding out what text connections are or how you could teach them in the classroom with the books, you can reference my older videos because I talk quite at length about that in the previous videos. So another educational element to this book in particular is that, like I said, Miles writes a poem. You can teach that genre in your classroom or in your home with your children. There's a line in the story that I loved. Poems don't have to rhyme, Miles said. The words just have to sound nice together like notes in a song. Besides, I can write the words for you. So I love this explanation because a lot of children think that poems always have to rhyme, and they don't, actually. It's about how the words fit and sound together. So you can talk about these elements to children and have them write their own poems. When I wrote that little poem that is supposed to be from Gabriel, I actually teared up because I think it's precious. And of course, like in all of the books, there is letter writing formatting because, as I've said before, Miles writes a letter to the readers after the story. You know, letter writing is actually part of the lower elementary curriculum, and it's very hard to find a book to support letter writing, to be honest with you. So this is a nice way you can talk about the different formats. You can have kids write back to Miles and so on and so forth. And the artwork itself, like I said, is very romantic, and it was done all in pencil and watercolor like the previous books. And This book in particular, for some reason, the artwork just really speaks to me. Between the snowy owl and how majestic he is and the beautiful snow. And there's a page in the book too that always gets me, that picture, that one scene of Violet and her little brother Gabriel standing in front of the door after coming in from the snowstorm. And there's just something precious about both of these characters. I think Violet is adorable and Gabe is just, he's heart-wrenchingly sweet. There's just something about Gabriel that always tugs at my heart. So the themes in the book, some of them are very similar to the previous books. For this book in particular, I think two very strong themes exist, which is expressing love and giving from the heart. So here's a little fun fact. I paired the setting of the wintry setting with kind of the birthday theme because my daughter's birthday and my birthday are both in the month of February. As we all know, it's February right now. And my daughter's birthday was on the 16th, just a couple days ago, and she turned 17. It's crazy. But what's even crazier is in a couple days from today, I turn the big 50. 50. In celebration of that, on the back cover of the book is the recipe to the birthday cake that Miles and his mother make for Violet and her birthday party. It's an exceptional birthday cake. It's chocolate cake. It's my own homemade chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. The key to that cake is using Italian unsweetened cocoa. The reason why is Italian cocoa tends to be a lot richer and darker. It's a really wonderful flavor. Now, you're probably thinking I'm gonna make that today. I'm actually not. I will make it at some point. So I wanted to change it up a bit since my birthday is in a couple days and it's not just every day that you turn 50. So I thought, what I really love is something that is equally as extraordinary as the chocolate cake on the back of this book, and it is my double chocolate brownies. And to call these brownies does not do it justice. These aren't your everyday cakey brownies. They're like a chocolate experience. It's this deep, dark, fudgy, almost souffle-like in your mouth chocolate creation. And I figured, you know, it's my birthday and I'll have brownies if I want to in lieu of cake. In fact, my daughter gave a girlfriend of hers one of these the other day at lunch at school, and she said to me, Mom, she literally almost started crying. If you're a chocolate lover, this will knock your socks off. The best part, it's super easy. You would not believe how easy this is. There's just a few simple ingredients. It's hand mixed. You don't even need a mixer, and it's really quick. So come with me. It'll take no time to show you. So the first thing you do is you line a 9x13. This is actually a metal pan. You can use a glass if you want. 9x13 pan with aluminum foil. And this way, when the brownies are all done and they're baked, you can just take it right out with the aluminum foil. So, and then of course you spray the pan with your nonstick spray, which is basically my best friend in life. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually melting a stick and a half of unsalted butter over a double boiler, which is basically you put some water in a pan and you put it on kind of a low, bring it to a low simmer, and set your bowl, a heat-proof bowl, on top of the pot, and then what it does is it gently melts whatever you need to have gently melted. So with chocolate, a lot of times, especially with high-quality chocolate, if it gets too hot, or if it's over a high heat, the chocolate can seize up on you. So you want to make sure that you protect your chocolate from that happening. One important note, really important to use unsalted butter. Unsalted butter allows you to control the amount of salt that goes into your recipe, and it also allows you to use the kind of salt you like. I like to use kosher salt. I think it's a much milder, nicer flavor than that kind of bitter flavor that can be in the typical iodized salts. This recipe only has a few ingredients, so it's only going to be as good as the quality of your ingredients. I use really nice chocolate. Try to get the best chocolate that you can, because that's what really is going to flavor this entire recipe. And I actually just kind of, you want to like break them up, and I actually just break it up right in the package, and it allows it to stay together. Same with this little guy. Oh, and by the way, not only is this recipe relying on how good your chocolate is, it's also relying on how good your vanilla is. Because vanilla is a big part of this recipe. So make sure that the vanilla you buy is actually a nice one. So the butter is pretty much melted at this point, and that's when you're going to add your chocolate. So you're melting the chocolate in with the butter. It's a good trick. Whenever you have to melt butter and chocolate together, melt the butter first, If I can get them out of here. And just make sure you don't get any aluminum foil. If your chocolate's wrapped in foil, make sure you don't get any of the aluminum foil in your bowl, because that doesn't taste so good. So I've added 8 ounces of bittersweet chocolate, which is important. You don't want it too sweet because it dictates how much sugar you actually add to the recipe. I'm just going to stir this around until it's just melted. And once it is melted, then you're going to let it sit and cool. Okay, so it is all melted. What I'm going to do is lift it off of the water, set it aside, and let it cool for a moment, because you don't want the hot mixture to cook your eggs when you add them. So I'm going to give this a second. At this point, once the chocolate and the butter mixture have cooled sufficiently, you add 1½ cups sugar, two teaspoons vanilla, 1, 2, and to this you add 4 eggs that I whisked up a bit just to break them up before adding, and whisk those 4 eggs in. I find that breaking them up before adding them to the batter just is kind of a helpful little trick to make it so it's not so hard to incorporate them. This is a beautiful batter. Once that's ready, then I add 1 teaspoon salt. And this is where it's good that you use unsalted butter, because you control the salt in the recipe. And 1 cup, just 1 cup of flour. And then just fold the flour in, and it'll start to come together. Hand mixing also makes it so that it's very tender batter. For the double chocolate part, chocolate chips. 1 cup. At this point, you pour the batter into that aluminum foil lined baking sheet. This is a beautiful batter. Then you just spread it evenly. Okay, so at this point we're going to bake it. We are going to bake it at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is. It might go from 25 to 35 minutes. You want to cook it until a little tester comes out with just a couple crumbs on it. So keep an eye on it, because you don't want to overbake this. That's the beauty of this, of that kind of luxurious, moist crumb to this brownie. So okay, it's going in. Well, the brownies are baked. They're sitting right here and they're beautiful. This place smells amazing. But they baked for about 28 minutes, and I just poked a little tester in it, and a couple crumbs were on it, and it was perfect. So I brought it out. I let it sit in the pan for a good maybe 15 minutes or so, and then what I do is I remove the aluminum foil and the whole thing out, set it aside, and let it cool for another maybe 10-15. And what's beautiful about this is I have a completely perfectly clean pan. It's like my favorite thing. So now we're going to cut the brownies. Now when you cut the brownies, they're incredibly moist. So what you have to do is you have a little paper towel and a very sharp knife. And every time you swipe down and cut a row, you wipe it with the paper towel. So I'm going to do that right now. Well, here I am with this warm, melt in your mouth brownie. I can't wait to try it. It's just so perfect. I tell you, this is as good as any cake I can think of in my lifetime. Just saying. So within a week, my daughter turned 17 and I turned half a century. And I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna have a bite of this. Maybe eating this will give me some insight into what in the world is going on. I'm gonna use a fork. Seems kind of silly, but it's still really warm and tender, and it's falling apart. Oh my gosh. And I put this beautiful syrup on the bottom. Oh man. I'm going in twice. This is so simple, you have to do this. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna eat the whole thing. I'm getting a caffeine high right now. So the recipe is below, and if you hit show more, it'll show the rest of the information, and there's the recipe. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Remember, you can purchase Miles and Beth's birthday gift or any of the other books that I've either written or illustrated on JamieRuthenberg.com or on Amazon. But always best to go through my website because then I can sign it and personalize it. You know, something to remember about this brownie, there's only a cup of flour in it. It is very easy to turn this into a gluten-free situation. Rice flour or whatever flour that you like to use. I think it's a great gluten-free option for people. Thank you for hanging with me. I really do hope you make this. This is another one of those recipes that you need to have in your life. And until next time. It's already starting. Okay. So today I'm talking about a children's book titled Miles and Beth's Birthday Gift. I can't talk today. And remember to check out the videos, not the videos, check out the videos. Okay, so the book, and she basically tells him it's the best gift that he could have ever given him. Her. I've said this 9 times now. At least I didn't slap at me as last time.